Hi. Uh, so without restarting this video, I'll continue because I have to become good in starting these videos at an instant. There is no scope for starting again, and that is equal to wasting time. So without wasting time, why should you watch this video? So my name is Prerak Sharma. I have taken this challenge for myself to communicate daily for at least 20 minutes, and in the meanwhile, hi. Uh, so without restarting this video, I'll continue because I have to become good in starting these videos at an instant. There is no scope for starting again, and that is equal to wasting time. So without wasting time, why should you watch this video? So my name is Prerak Sharma. I have taken this challenge for myself to communicate daily for at least 20 minutes, and in the meanwhile I have a higher purpose of getting a person on my videos. To get that person on my videos, I have to read 3 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and any questions that I have to write them somewhere, and in the end when the person comes, I'll get it to ask him directly for the answers. So this is my purpose, and for that I read Bhagavad Gita daily. I try to read for 20 minutes, but I go with the flow without looking at the timer. I just keep on reading till it serves my curiosity. So today also I'll be going to do the same, and I had a conversation with my mom. Along with me making these videos, I will also make videos of the campus and try to improve my English there, because in the end, just by reading a book or talking to myself in front of the camera is not going to improve my skills. And I'm also facing this in real life, that when I talk to some other people, my heart starts beating fast. I get lost. I don't have much words to speak. So I'll try to get outside and make videos outside so that it can better enhance me, because in the room, in just 4 doors, just me and this camera, I won't be able to be better. So let's go outside from tomorrow onwards. I'll first of all complete the 30-day challenge, and let's see what goes on from that. So let's begin today, and I'll start from where we ended today. The Lord suggests that we attain the spiritual world in the following manner. Nirman Moha. Just give me a second, guys, I'm feeling cold. निर्माण मोह जीत संग दोष अध्यात्म नित्य विनवृत्ता काम द्वंद्वैर विमुक्ता सुख दुख समझनैर गच्छन्ति उमुधा padam avyayam tat. That padam avyayam or eternal kingdom can be reached by one who is nirman moh. What does this mean? We are after designation. Someone wants to become a son, someone wants to become lord, someone wants to become the president or a rich man or a king or something else. As long as we are attached to these designations, we are attached to the body, because designations belong to the body, but we are not these bodies. And realizing this is the first stage in spiritual realization. We are associated with the 3 modes of material nature, but we must become detached through devotional service to the Lord. If we are not attached to devotional service to the Lord, then we cannot become detached from the modes of material nature. Designations and attachments are due to our lust and desire, our wanting to lord it over the material nature. As long as we do not give up this propensity of lording it over material nature, there is no possibility of returning to the kingdom of the Supreme, the Sanatan Dharma. That eternal kingdom which is never destroyed can be approached by one who is not bewildered by the attractions of false material enjoyments, who is situated in the service of the Supreme Lord. One so situated can easily approach that Supreme Word. Elsewhere in the Gita it is stated, Avyak tokshara iti uktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nirvartante tad dhama paramam mama. Avyakta means unmanifested. Not even all of the material world is manifested before us. Our senses are so imperfect that we cannot even see all the stars within the material universe. in Vedic literature we can receive much information about all the planets, and we can believe it or not believe it. All of the important planets are described in Vedic literature, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, and the spiritual world which is beyond this material sky is described as avyakta, unmanifested. One should desire and hanker after the supreme kingdom, for when one attains that kingdom, he does not have to return to this material world. Next, one may raise the question of how one goes about approaching that abode of the Supreme Lord. Information of this is given in the 8th chapter. It is said there, Antakale cha mama eva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samsaya. Anyone who quits his body at the end of life, remembering me, attains immediately to my nature, and there is no doubt of this. One who thinks of Krishna at the time of his death goes to Krishna. One must remember the form of Krishna. If he quits his body, thinking of this form, he approaches the spiritual kingdom. Madbhavam refers to the supreme nature of the Supreme Being. The Supreme Being is Satchidanand Vigraha, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Our present body is not Satchidanand. It is Asat, not Sat. It is not eternal. It is perishable. It is not Chit, full of knowledge, but it is full of ignorance. We have no knowledge of the spiritual kingdom, nor do we even have perfect knowledge of the material body, where there are so many things unknown to us. The body is also Nirananda. Instead of being full of bliss, it is full of misery. All of the miseries we experience in the material world arise from the body. But one who leaves this body, thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at once attains the Satchidanand body, as is promised in this 5th verse of the 8th chapter, where Lord Krishna says, he attains my nature. We have no knowledge of the spiritual kingdom, nor do we even have perfect knowledge of this material world, where there are so many things unknown to us. The body is also Nirananda. Instead of being full of bliss, it is full of misery. All of the miseries we experience in the material world arise from the body, but one who leaves this body, thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at once attains a Satchidanand body, as is promised in 5th verse. In this 5th verse of the 8th chapter, where Lord Krishna says, he attains my nature. The process of quitting this body and getting another body in the material nature is also organized. A man dies after it has been decided what form of body he will have in the next life. Higher authorities, not the living entity himself, make this decision. According to our activities in this life, we either rise or sink. This life is a preparation for the next life. If we can prepare therefore in this life to get promotion to the kingdom of God, then surely after quitting this material body, we will attain a spiritual body just like the Lord. As explained before, there are different kinds of transcendentalists. The Brahmavadi, Paramatmavadi, and the devotee. And as mentioned in the Brahma Jyoti, there are innumerable spiritual planets. The number of these planets is far, far greater than all of the planets of this material world. This material world has been approximated as only 1/4 of the creation. In this material segment, there are millions and billions of universes with trillions of planets and suns, stars and moons. But this whole material creation is only a fragment of the total creation. Most of the creation is in the spiritual sky. One who desires to merge into existence of the Supreme Brahman is at once transferred to the Brahma Jyoti of the Supreme Lord, and thus attains the spiritual sky. The devotee who wants to enjoy the association of the Lord enters into the Vaikuntha planet, which are innumerable, and the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion as Narayan with 4 hands and with other different names like Pradyuman, Aniruddha, Govind, etc., associates with him there. Therefore, at the end of life, the transcendentalists either think of the Brahma Jyoti, the Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. In all cases, they enter into the spiritual sky, but only the devotee, or who he is in personal touch with the Supreme Lord, enters into the Vaikuntha planet. The Lord further adds that of this there is no doubt. This must be believed firmly. We should not reject that which does not tally with our imagination. Our attitude should be that of Arjuna. I believe everything that you have said. Therefore, when the Lord says that at the time of death, whoever thinks of him as Brahman or Paramatma or as the personality of Godhead, certainly he enters into the spiritual sky. There is no doubt about it. There is no question of disbelieving it. The information on how to think of the Supreme Being at the time of death is also given in the Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजाति ante kalevaram tam tam evati konteya sada tadbhav bhavita. In whatever condition one quits his present body, in his next life he will attain to that state of being without fail. Material nature is a display of one of the energies of the Supreme Lord. in the Vishnu Puran, the total energies of the Supreme Lord as Vishnu, Sakit, Para, Prokta, etc. are delineated. The Supreme Lord has diverse and innumerable energies which are beyond our conception. However, great learned sages or liberated souls have studied these energies and have analyzed them into three parts. All of the energies are of Vishnu Shakti, that is to say they are different potencies of Lord Vishnu. That energy is Para, transcendental. Living entities also belong to the superior energy. As has already been explained, the other energy or material energies are in the mode of ignorance. At the time of death, we can either remain in the inferior energy of this material world or we can transfer to the energy of the spiritual world. In life, we are accustomed to think either of the material or the spiritual energy. There are so many literature which fill our thoughts with the material energy, newspapers, novel, etc. Our thinking, which is now absorbed in these literature, must be transferred to the Vedic literature. The great sages, therefore, have written so many Vedic literatures such as the Puranas, etc. The Puranas are not imaginative. They are historical records in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is the following verse: Maya Mugdha Jiver Nahi Swata Krishna Jnana Jiver Krapya Kail Krishna Veda Purana. The forgetful living entities or conditioned souls have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord and they are engrossed in thinking of material activities just to transfer their thinking power to the spiritual sky. Krishna has given a great number of Vedic literature. First, he divided the Vedas into four, then he explained them in the Puranas. And for less capable people, he wrote the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, there is given the Bhagavad Gita. Then all Vedic literature is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra. And for future guidance, he gave a natural commentation on the Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. We must always engage our minds in reading these Vedic literature, just as materialists engage their minds in reading newspaper, magazines, and so many materialistic literatures. We must transfer our reading to these literature which are given to us by the Vyasadeva. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. That is the only way suggested by the Lord, and He guarantees end results. There is no doubt. As we, being in this material world, try to gather each and every information about what is happening in the world. How do we gather this information? We follow podcasts that tell us these newspapers. We follow news channels which give us these newspapers. We read newspapers. I myself read Mint newspaper. I get information of the world through reading these newspapers. And by reading these, I get the information that is required by me. But this distinction is clearly visible. When I read material newspaper, I get aware of the material world. In the similar way, if I read the spiritual newspaper, I will get aware about the spiritual realm or spiritual world. This is the main essence or gist of our life. The Puranas, Vedas, all of these things are written. There were news that were going on 100 years back. Do we read those newspapers right now? No. Do we need that information right now? No. Even the information that I was getting 1 year back or even 1 month back, it is of no use right now, and it will be of no use 100 years down the line. But the information, the literature that has stayed with us is the Vedic literatures, the Puranas, the Bhagavad Gita, which still makes sense till the date. Why? Because it is the life manual. Humans have remained the same. At that time also people were confused. Arjuna, the greatest warrior of the planet, was confused, and even today humans are confused. At that time, Krishna came himself to give us this knowledge, to give Arjuna this knowledge. At today's time, our understanding is such weak that we can't understand the Vedanta or the Puranas. So we have the simplest form of it. The simplest form of it is the Bhagavad Gita, which is the script of the Lord Himself. So we should upskill our spiritual knowledge by reading this spiritual text daily, on a daily basis. And as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, the person who in the end of his life, the end stage of his life, if he remembers the name, at that point of life, he will get the Vakuntha planets. We can't even imagine the planets that we have right now. We can't see the stars, we can't see the planets. Our eyes are incapable of that. But the records of it and the proofs of it are in the literatures that we have. And we have to trust it, and we have to believe that whatever, if by any chance we get to speak the Lord's name at the moment of our death, we will get to that planet. We will also receive the Sat Chit Anand Vigraha state of the Lord. Moving on to the next verse. Tasmat sarvesu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha me arpita manobuddhir mam evasyasi asamsaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me, and at the same time, you should continue your prescribed duty and fight. See, please listen to this verse carefully. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me, and at the same time, you should continue your prescribed duty and fight. So, sir, I have a question for you. Here it is written that Krishna is telling Arjuna that you should always think of me, and at the same time, you should continue your prescribed duty and fight. With your mind and activities always fixed on me and everything engaged in me, you will attain to me without any doubt. Sir, isn't this multitasking? And what is there written about multitasking in the Vedas? Is multitasking a good thing? Thinking about something and doing something at the same time. Thinking about the Lord and doing activities. Isn't multitasking? Isn't my focus wavering? I'm not focused in my task. You will attain to me without any doubt. He does not advise Arjuna to simply remember him and give up his occupation. No, the Lord never suggests anything impractical. In this material world, in order to maintain the body, one has to work. He does not advise Arjuna to simply remember him and give up his occupation. No, the Lord never suggests anything impractical. In this material world, in order to maintain the body, one has to work. Human society is divided according to work into 4 divisions of social order: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The Brahman class or intelligent class is working in one way, the Kshatriya or administrative class is working in another way, and the mercantile class and the laborers are all tending to their specific duties in the human society, whether one is a laborer, merchant, warrior, administrator or farmer, or even if one belongs to the highest class and is a literary man, a scientist or a theologian, he has to work in order to maintain his existence. The Lord therefore tells Arjuna that he need not give up on his occupation, but while he is engaged in his occupation, he should remember Krishna. If he doesn't practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. Lord Chaitanya also advises this. He says that one should practice remembering the Lord by chanting the names of the Lord always. The names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Lord Krishna's instruction to Arjuna to remember me and Lord Chaitanya's injunction to always chant the names of Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference because Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different. In the absolute status, there is no difference between reference and referent. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always 24 hours a day. Just remember, there are infinite names. Just remember any of them, because in the end, the reference and the referent are the same. Every name is Krishna's name. So remember any name and you'll be in touch with him, as simple as that. By chanting his names and molding our life's activities in such a way that we can remember him always. How is this possible? The Acharyas give the following example. If a married woman is attached to another man, or if a man has an attachment for a woman other than his wife, then the attachment is to be considered very strong. One with such an attachment is always thinking of the loved one. The wife who is thinking of her lover is always thinking of meeting him, even while she is carrying out her household chores. In fact, she carries out her household work even more carefully so her husband will not suspect her attachment. What is this example? Oh my god. Similarly, we should always remember, what is this example? So in Vedas or scriptures, it is written, if 2 people are married and let's say the wife has attachment towards another person, so even when she's performing her duties, she finds some way to remember that, to remember her lover while still not letting anyone notice. In the same way, similarly, we should always remember the supreme lover, Sri Krishna, and at the same time perform our material duties very nicely. A strong sense of love is required here. If we have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty and at the same time remember him. But we have to develop that sense of love. Arjuna, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna. He was the constant companion of Krishna, and at the same time he was a warrior. Krishna did not advise him to give up fighting and go to the forest to meditate. When Lord Krishna delineates the yoga system to Arjuna, Arjuna says that the practice of this system is not possible for him. I will add this word Paropkar to my bio everywhere. Paropkar. What is Paropkar? Spreading the Vedic literature, distributing the knowledge out to the world. Through this video, I'm doing my part. Anyone watching it and anyone actually realizing or actually listening to this video is getting the Vedic literature knowledge. I am doing that Paropkar. I'm remembering the Lord. Yeah, one thing is that I have not practiced it. This is not in my tapa, so I have to practice remember the Lord always 24/7. I also forget. I also tend to forget things, but I'll try to remember Him from now on. Remember Him, and also do your duties along. So moving on to the next. A strong sense of love is required. If you have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty and at the same time remember Him. But we have to develop that sense of love. Arjuna, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna. He was the constant companion of Krishna, and at the same time, he was a warrior. Krishna did not advise him to give up fighting and go to the forest and meditate. When Lord Krishna delineates yoga system to Arjuna, Arjuna says the practice of this system is not possible to him. Arjuna remembered Krishna by always being with him. So be always with him. Always be with Krishna. Arjuna says that the practice of this system is not possible for him. Arjuna uvacha yo yam yogastoya prokta samyena madhusudana etasyaham napasyami chanchalavtvat sthitim sthiram. Arjuna said, O Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and endurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. But the Lord says, Arjuna is being very practical. He is saying that O Lord, the yoga system that you are saying is impractical to me because there is no way to control this mind. And imagine Arjuna saying this. He is the greatest warrior. He has practiced his art a lot. He is literally the best in the world. He has done meditation. He has the archer he has the bow and arrow which were gifted by Shiva and other supreme entities. He knew how to operate Brahmastra. Best at his thing. And he says that the mind is uncontrollable. Just imagine, and the same state is that we are having today. Even today we can't control our minds. This is Bhagavad Gita for you all, guys. This is the real truth. We have to ponder on these thoughts. Thank you so much, sir, for referring it to me. System of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and endurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Even Arjuna says that the mind is restless and unsteady. We think the same. Our minds are restless and they are unsteady. But the Lord says, what Krishna says, the Lord, Yoginam api sarvesam madgate nantaratma atmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatmo mata. Let's see what Krishna has to say of this argument, because Krishna says to follow yoga system and always remember him. But Arjuna says, bro, okay, chill guys, you are saying this, but bro, my mind is unstable, my mind is full of thoughts, my mind is restless. What to do about it? So now Krishna is replying to his friend a strong argument. Krishna says, of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith. A yogi is a person who follows the yoga system. Yoga system is just doing the task that is according to your pattern or your varna. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. One who thinks of the Supreme Lord always is the greatest yogi, the supermost jnani, and the greatest devotee at the same time. The Lord further tells Arjuna that As a Kshatriya, he cannot give up his fighting. But if Arjuna fights remembering Krishna, then he will be able to remember him at the time of death. But one must be completely surrendered in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Lord further tells Arjuna that as a Kshatriya, he cannot give up his fighting. The Lord further tells Arjuna, so this beautiful body is given to me by the Lord. I want to decorate it by putting. Can you put that chandan on me, sir, please? The Lord further tells Arjuna that as a Kshatriya he cannot give up his fighting. But if Arjuna fights remembering Krishna, then he will be able to remember him at the time of death. Arjuna that as a Kshatriya he cannot give up his fighting. If Arjuna fights remembering Krishna, then he will be able to remember him. Do your task and also remember him. He cannot give up his fighting, but if Arjuna fights remembering Krishna, then he will be able to remember him at the time of death. But one must be completely surrendered in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. We work not with our body actually, but with our mind and intelligence. So if the intelligence and the mind are always engaged in the thought of Supreme, we work not with our body actually, but with our mind and intelligence. This is such a great statement. We don't work with our body. We work with our mind and intelligence. If my mind tells me that I don't want to work, even if my body is healthy, my stomach is filled, I won't do it. Every task that I am doing is governed by mind and intelligence. Mind and intelligence governs the body. We don't work. We don't work with our body. We work not with our body actually, but with our mind and intelligence. So if the intelligence and the mind are always engaged in the thought of the Supreme Lord, then naturally the senses are also engaged in His service. Superficially, at least the activities of the senses remain the same, but the consciousness is changed. The Bhagavad Gita teaches one how to absorb the mind and intelligence in the thought of the Lord. Such absorption will enable one to transfer himself to the kingdom of the Lord. If the mind is engaged in Krishna's service, then the senses are automatically engaged in His service. This is the art, and this is also the secret of Bhagavad Gita, total absorption in the thought of Shri Krishna. Modern man has struggled very hard to reach the moon, but he has not tried very hard to elevate himself spiritually. If one has 50 years of life ahead of him, he should engage that brief time in cultivating this practice of remembering the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. This practice is the devotional practice of. I have an idea. The notes, the Bhagavad Gita notes that I have, I can show it to you. I have some pages left in it. So whatever thoughts that I generate now, I will use this notebook to write those thoughts. So the thought which came to my mind right now is this. I'll write it. This is a very powerful sentence. We work not with our body. But with our mind and intelligence. So if intelligence and mind are always engaged in thought of Supreme Lord, naturally the senses are also engaged in a service. Are engaged always in the thought of the Supreme Lord. Then naturally these senses are also engaged in service. Because this is a very powerful verse that I'm spending time on it. Because Arjuna asked a very specific question that although Krishna, my dear friend, you, my guru, you are telling me to follow the yoga system, but my mind is so unstable and so restless. Mind is unstable and restless. Bro, tell me what to do. Krishna says that remember me always. Do your work and also remember me. And how to do that? Why you can do that? Because we work not with our body. Love me. We work not with our body actually, but with our mind and intelligence. So if the intelligence and the mind are always engaged in the thought of the Supreme Lord. So if mind and intelligence are engaged always in the thought of the Supreme Lord, then naturally the senses are also engaged in a service. Superficially, at least, the activities of the senses remain the same, but the consciousness is changed. Superficially, senses remain the same. But the consciousness is changed. The Bhagavad Gita teaches one how to absorb the mind and intelligence in the thought of the Lord. Such absorption will enable one to transfer himself to the kingdom of the Lord. If the mind is engaged in Krishna's service, then the senses are automatically engaged in his service. This is the art, and this is also the secret of Bhagavad Gita, total absorption in the thought of Krishna. Mind is engaged in Krishna's service, then the senses are automatically engaged. If mind is engaged in a thing, the senses are automatically engaged. In his service. This is the secret and art. And art of Bhagavad Gita. Total absorption in the thought of Krishna. Modern man has struggled very hard to reach the moon, but he has not even tried very hard to elevate himself spiritually. If one has 50 years of life ahead of him, he should engage that brief time in cultivating this practice of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This practice is the devotional process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. These 9 processes, of which is the easiest, is Shravanam, hearing Bhagavad Gita from the realized person, will turn one to the thought of the Supreme Being. This will lead to the Nischala, remembering the Supreme Lord, and will enable one upon leaving the body to attain spiritual body, which is just fit for association with the Supreme Lord. The Lord further says, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Nanya Gamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthanu Chintayan. By practicing this remembering, without being deviated, thinking ever of the Supreme Godhead, one is sure to achieve the planet of the Divine, the Supreme Personality, or Son of Kunti. This is not a very difficult process. However, one must learn it from an experienced person, from one who is already in the practice. The mind is always fighting to this and that, but one must always practice concentrating the mind on the form of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, or on the sound of his name. The mind is naturally restless, going hither and thither, but it can rest in the sound vibration of Krishna. One must thus meditate on Paramam Purusham, the Supreme Person, and thus attain him. The ways and the means for ultimate realization, ultimate attainment are stated in the Bhagavad Gita, and the doors of this knowledge are open to everyone. No one is barred out. All classes of men can approach the Lord by thinking of him. For hearing and thinking of him is possible for everyone. The mind is naturally restless. But it can rest. On the sound vibration of Krishna. One must thus meditate on Paramam Purusham, the Supreme Person, to attain him. The ways and the means for ultimate realization, ultimate attainment are stated in the Bhagavad Gita, and the doors of this knowledge are open for everyone. No one is barred out. All classes of man can approach the Lord by thinking of him. For hearing and thinking of him is possible for everyone. The Lord further says, Mam hi partha vyapasritya ye pi syu pap yonaya striyo vasyas तथा शूद्रास्ते पीयन्ति परम गतिम किम पुनर्ब्रह्मणा पुण्यभक्त राजर्षयस् तथा अनित्यम असुखम लोकम इमाम प्रप्य भजस्व मम. O son of Parth, anyone who will take shelter in me, whether a woman or a merchant or one born in a low family, can yet approach the supreme destination. How much greater then are the Brahmanas, the righteous, the devotees and saintly kings. In the miserable world, these are fixed in devotional service to the Lord. Human beings, even in the lower statuses of life, merchant, a woman or a laborer, can attain to the supreme. One does not need highly developed intelligence. The point is that anyone who accepts the principle of bhakti yoga and accepts the supreme Lord as the summum bonum of life, as the highest target, the ultimate goal, can approach the Lord in the spiritual sky. If one adopts the principles enunciated in Bhagavad Gita, he can make his life perfect and make a perfect solution to all the problems of life which arise out of the transient nature of material existence. This is the sum and substance of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Doesn't matter what class do you have, even if you are a woman, Jewish, Christian, any religion that you belong from, you can hear, you can listen to the Lord's name. Just by listening and remembering to the Lord's name, surrendering to Him, accepting Him as the Supreme Being, and Bhakti Yoga, having your life in Bhakti Yoga, you can attain Him. As simple as that. In conclusion, Bhagavad Gita is a transcendental literature which one should read very carefully. It is capable of saving from all fear. Now I'll change my sitting position a little. It's getting uncomfortable. So. Is it transcendental which one should read very carefully. It is capable of saving from all fear. Fearlessness. In this Neha Bhikrama Nasosti Pratyavayo Na Vidyate Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. If one reads Bhagavad Gita sincerely and seriously, then all of the reactions of his past misdeeds will not react upon him. In the last portion of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna proclaims, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mukshayisyami Ma Sucha. Give up all varieties of religiousness and just surrender unto me, and in return I shall protect you from all sinful reactions. Therefore you have nothing to fear. Thus the Lord takes all responsibility for one who surrenders unto Him, and He indemnifies all the reactions of sin. One cleanses himself daily by taking bath in water, but one who takes his bath only once in the sacred Ganges water, because of the Ganges of water of the Bhagavad Gita, cleanses away all the dirt of material life. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, mankind is so absorbed with mundane activities that it is not possible to read all of the Vedic literature, but this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice, because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said that one who drinks the water of Ganges certainly gets salvation, but what to speak of one who drinks the waters of Bhagavad Gita? Gita is the very nectar of the Mahabharata, spoken by Vishnu himself. For Lord Krishna is the original Vishnu. It is the nectar emanating from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Ganges is said to be emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord. Of course, there is no difference between the mouth and the feet of the Supreme Lord. But in our position, we can appreciate that the Bhagavad Gita is even more important than the Ganges. The Bhagavad Gita is just like a cow, and Lord Krishna, who is a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. The milk is the essence of the Vedas, and Arjuna is just like a calf. The milk is the essence of the Vedas, and Arjuna is just like a calf. The wise men, the great sages, and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is like a cow. Krishna is the cowherd. Krishna is milking the essence of the Vedas. Who is the cowherd milking his cow? This cow. The milk is the essence of the Vedas, and Arjuna is just like a calf. The wise men, the great sages, and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. In this present day, man is very eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, and one occupation. So let there be one common scripture for the world, Bhagavad Gita, and let there be one God only for the whole world, Shri Krishna, and the mantra, and one mantra only, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And let there be one work only, the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The disciplic succession, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarseyo Vidu. This Bhagavad Gita, as it is received through the disciplic succession, Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyas, Vyas to Madhva, Madhva to Padmanabha, to Nrahari, to Madhava, to Akshobhya, to Jayatirtha, to Gyan Sindhu, to Dayanidhi, to Vidyanidhi, to Rajendra, to Jayadharma, to Purushottama, to Brahmanya Tirtha, to Vyasa Tirtha, to Lakshmipati, to Madhavendrapuri, to Ishwarapuri, Nityananda Advaita, to Lord Chaitanya, to Rupa Swarup Sanatana, to Raghunath Jeeva, Krishna Das, Narottam Vishwanath, Baladeva Jagannath, Bhakti Vinod, Gaura Kishora, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Now I will take you to the photographs which are in the Bhagavad Gita. I have read the introduction, the 33 pages, which I started 3 days back. Today it is complete. So now I'll take you to the pictures that are present in this book. So this is the first picture of Prabhupada, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON and greatest exponent of Krishna consciousness in the world. Now on the left side we have Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, the spiritual master of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and foremost scholar and devotee in the recent age. So this was the guru of Prabhupada. And this on the right side is Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami and the intimate student of Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod. So this is the disciple of this guru. Now we have Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod, the pioneer of the program to benedict the entire world with Krishna consciousness. Pioneer of the program to benedict the entire world with Krishna consciousness. And here we have Dhritarashtra, plate 1, inquires from Sanjay about the events in the battle. Plate 2, O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu. This is Duryodhana and probably this is Shakuni. Krishna and Arjuna in the midst of two armies. Plate 4, Arjuna. Krishna and Arjuna sounded their transcendental conch shells. Next one. When Arjuna saw all different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion. The insulting of Draupadi. The blessed Lord said, "The wise lament neither for the living nor the dead." Plate 8. The soul changes bodies as a person changes garments. The body changes, but the soul remains the same. Krishna and the living entity are seated on the tree of the body. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment to them. Be thou happy by this sacrifice, because its performance will bestow you all desirable things. The demigods, being satisfied by the performance of sacrifice, supply all needs to man. The living entity is covered by different degrees of lust. The blessed Lord first instructed this imperishable science of yoga to Vivaswan. The Lord descends whenever there is a decline in religious principles. In order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants. As they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Plant. He who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the result of both. Bhakti. The humble sages sees with equal vision. One should meditate on me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with undeviating determination and faith. This mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna. Of all yogis, he who abides in is the highest of all. Krishna's material and spiritual energies. Four kinds of pious men surrender to Krishna, and four kinds of impious men do not. the one who is needy, the one who seeks the truth, the one who is in misery. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Fools deride me when I descend the human form. They think that he is the same. They think that he is also similar human. Arjuna addressed Krishna, "You are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier." No, all these beautiful, glorious and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. All this creation, all this beautiful, glorious and mighty creation spring from but a spark of my splendor. All of this beautiful creation around us. The universal form. At last Krishna shows his two-armed form. Krishna delivers his unalloyed devotee from the ocean of birth and death. The three modes of material nature. Devlok, animal and humans. Desire. There is a banyan tree which has its roots upwards and its branch downwards. Liberation, Vedic. Yeah, this was my question. What are the opposites of these? What are the opposite of love, lust, anger? Love, lust, anger, hate. In the spiritual tree, in the opposite side of the spiritual tree. Tree which has its roots upwards and its branches down. Desire, liberation, Vedic hymns, pious facts, sense objects, economic development, religiosity, sense gratification, impious acts. The spiritual and the material worlds. The spiritual and the material worlds. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life as the air carries aromas. The living entities in the material world carries his different conceptions of life as the air carries aromas. Oh, so if we eat, we carry the aroma of a pig. If we are in great lust, we carry the aroma of a dog. If we carry the aroma of being around Krishna, we will go into the bhakti path. If we were a muni once or a devotee once, we carry the aroma of a rishi. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger. Envy, ignorance, false prestige, greed, lust, anger, attachment, pride, acceptance of spiritual master, study of Veda, austerity, sense control, spiritual knowledge. Lust, greed and anger are the three gates leading to the down of the hell. Lust, greed and anger. There are three kinds of faith, that in the mode of goodness, that in the mode of passion, and that in the mode of ignorance. Sattva knows that God is supreme. Dhamma knows that person is supreme. Sattva, Raja knows that. And the Tama, the one who gives him money, is just fine. No, okay, put something in his belly is fine. The place of action of the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. Action, performer, senses, endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Action, performer, the senses. By the worship of the Lord, man can, in the performance of his own duty, become perfect. Just remember the Lord in all cases. If you are fighting, if you are working, if you are in a trade business, or if you are a Brahman, just remember the Lord and you can be perfect. Perform your duty and remember the Lord. Just like a person who is in love affair with another person remembers him while being in a marriage relationship with someone. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Always think of Krishna, become his devotee, offer homage unto me. Wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. Chapter 1. So we won't be reading the first chapter today. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start this first 3 chapters. How long are these? Let me check first. Chapter 6, Chapter 3, So we have 3 chapters are 200 pages long. We read 33 pages in 3 days, 1 hour each. So 1 hour is for 10 pages. And for 200 pages, 1 hour is equal to 10 pages. 200 pages is into 20. We need 20 hours. So 20 videos it will take of 1 hour each. 20 videos, how much is 20 videos equal to? Of 1 hour each, 20 days. How much are 20 days? 3 weeks. 3 weeks of Bhagavad Gita is what my math says. Let's see how it goes, because it will require more devotion, I believe. 3 chapters is a great activity which Sir has given me. And this is the tapasya which I have to do. Great things don't come with ease. A little effort is required. I'll do it. I have taken the initiative. I'll complete it. This is Bhagavad Gita for all. I hope you all are having fun. Just performing our duties. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not begging, but do like this video. Comment your insights below. Share it because it's the Lord's name. Do your own bhakti. Put your mind and intelligence at work. This body is just a medium. It works on its own. If mind and intelligence are aligned on something, there is no possibility in this whole world that there is nothing that can stop. Mind governed by intelligence, and this body governed by mind and intelligence, both can do anything, literally anything. Mind is restless, but it also gets silent by the name of the Lord. Shri Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Mind and intelligence covered by Lord's name. The senses will automatically act on its own. Even while I was chanting right now, my mind was trying to detour to some other places. But that is the moment when I have to control it, when I have to lead it back, because this is the habit which my mind has developed over 21 years. It will not come back on the first day. I have to put a leash on it and train him accordingly. Let's see over the next 21 days how it goes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, remembering the Lord's name, and Kirtanam, chanting the Lord's name. One book, one religion, one God. One God Krishna, one book Bhagavad Gita, and one hymn, one mantra. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Let's do all our duties while remembering the Lord. Then only there is going back, because anyways there is nothing kept in this material world. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video. Not begging. If you want, you can. If you don't want, it's your choice. Comment below your insights. Anything that you feel like you can comment below. If you want to get directly in touch with me, my personal links to social medias, my LinkedIn, my Twitter and Instagram are attached below in the description. I keep on posting IIT Mandi videos on my Instagram, so you can go there. In Twitter also I keep on upskilling my writing skills, and something more will be offered there, so please be in touch with that. And on YouTube I keep on uploading these videos, and from tomorrow on I will try to cover the whole campus and try to take my English to a next level, because in the end I don't have to talk to a camera, I have to talk to real people, and while talking to real people my heart will beat. I have to control my English then, I have to know my words then. So for that I will take me and my camera outside and film everything around me. Let's see how it goes. You all will be there to witness it. Witness my transformation over each day, over each month, and over the next 2 years. Thank you for staying in. Thank you for subscribing. If you have not, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for investing your time in this video. We'll meet tomorrow. Till then, bye. Have a nice day. Have fun. Signing off, Prerak Sharma.